Good morning, good people. Listen, I came here today to tell you one thing. It's your time. I don't care what's been holding you back, what people have said about you, or how many times you've fallen. Your life is your responsibility. See, too many folks spend their time worried about what everybody else is doing, watching, scrolling, commenting on other people's lives instead of building their own. They watching celebrities, gossiping about friends, worried about who's making money, who's driving what, who's wearing what, when they should be focused on their own business. Let me tell you something. You cannot shine watching somebody else's light. If you want success, if you want elevation, if you want people to notice your greatness, you got to put in the work first. You got to focus on you until one day the world has no choice but to pay attention. Because let me tell you, when you get serious about your life, things start to change. When you stop worrying about who's watching and start watching yourself, people are going to notice. When you get in your lane and grind, opportunities will start showing up. See, success is funny like that. It don't come when you're begging for attention. It comes when you do the work in silence, so loud that the world has no choice but to hear it. Let me ask you something. If I gave you a seed and told you it could grow into the biggest, strongest tree in the world, would you just stare at it? Would you post about it? Would you wait for someone else to water it? No. You'd plant that thing, water it, and make sure it gets sunlight every day. That's your dream. That's your vision. You got to plant it. You got to water it. You got to nurture it until one day it's so big people can't ignore it. The problem is most people don't want to go through the process. They want the success, but they don't want the struggle. They want the rewards, but they don't want the discipline. They want the attention, but they don't want the work. Listen, everybody claps when you win, but not everybody supports when you build. That's why you got to focus on you. Stop explaining yourself to people who ain't on your level. Stop looking for validation from folks who ain't even validated. Stop waiting for the world to recognize your greatness before you start acting like you got it. You already got it. You just got to put it to work. So today, make a decision. Decide that you're going to stop waiting for people to notice you. Decide that you're going to grind even when nobody claps for you. Decide that you're going to wake up every day and give 100% even when nobody's watching. Because let me tell you something. If you stay locked in, stay grinding, stay improving, there will come a day when you walk into a room and the whole place shifts because you walked in. Focus on you until the focus is you. And when that day comes, oh, trust me, they gonna see you. Now go get to work. Too many people spend their time watching others instead of building their own path. They scroll through social media, watching highlight reels of people they barely know, feeling inspired for a moment, but never taking action. They sit in conversations discussing what someone else is doing, who's making money, who just got a promotion, who's driving a new car. They watch successful people on TV, read about them online, and admire them from a distance, but they never take that energy and apply it to their own lives. The problem is watching success won't make you successful. Admiring greatness doesn't make you great. If all you do is observe, you will always be a spectator in the game of life. The people you admire, they're too busy working to sit around watching other people. They didn't get where they are by hoping, wishing, or talking. They got there by putting in the work, by getting up every single day and focusing on their own growth. Some people waste their time comparing their journey to someone else's, not realizing that no two paths are the same. They look at someone who's winning and wonder why they aren't in the same position. They forget that the person they're watching went through struggles they never saw, faced obstacles they never knew about, and put in effort behind the scenes that nobody noticed. Success doesn't happen overnight, but when you're focused on everyone else, it can feel like it does. If you spend your time watching, you're not building. Every minute you spend watching someone else's life is a minute you could be investing in your own. Think about how much time people waste scrolling, consuming, and discussing other people's achievements. Imagine if all that energy was redirected towards something productive, learning a new skill, building a business, developing a talent, or improving your health. Instead of watching others live their dreams, you could be working on your own. When you focus on what everyone else is doing, it creates a false sense of urgency. It makes you feel behind, as if you should be further along, as if you're failing because someone else is succeeding. But success isn't a race, it's a process. The only competition you should have is with yourself. The only person you should be trying to outdo is the person you were yesterday. The more you focus on other people, the more you lose sight of your own journey. The truth is, most people don't realize how much they are distracting themselves. They don't even recognize how much time they're giving away. If you were to track your time and see how much of it is spent watching, consuming, and worrying about what others are doing, you'd be shocked. People complain that they don't have enough time to go after their goals, but somehow they find hours to scroll through social media, binge watch shows, or gossip about people who aren't even thinking about them. The time is there, it's just being wasted. Success is like planting a seed. You don't just throw it into the ground and expect it to grow overnight. You have to water it, nurture it, and make sure it gets the right amount of sunlight. You have to be patient, consistent, and disciplined. Most people don't fail because they don't have potential. They fail because they don't take care of their own growth. They look around at what others are doing, they compare their progress to someone else's, and they get discouraged when they don't see immediate results. But just like a seed takes time to break through the soil and grow into a strong tree, success takes time, effort, and commitment. People often look at successful individuals and wonder how they got there. They see the end result, but not the process. They see the rewards, but not the discipline. They see the spotlight, but not the sacrifices. The truth is, those who succeed are the ones who understand the value of nurturing their own journey. They don't sit around hoping for something to happen. They don't wait for permission to grow. They take action every single day, watering their own seed until it becomes something undeniable. The biggest mistake people make is expecting results without putting in the work. They plant their dream, but they don't take care of it. They start something, but don't stay committed. They get excited in the beginning, but when the process gets tough, they give up. They don't realize that growth happens in the unseen moments. The moments when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when no one is recognizing their efforts. The ones who win are the ones who keep going even when there's no immediate reward. People get frustrated when they don't see results right away. They start something, and when it doesn't blow up overnight, they assume it's not working. They don't realize that every effort, every action, every step forward is like adding water to their seed. They don't see the roots growing beneath the surface, strengthening their foundation. They don't realize that just because they can't see progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Most people quit right before their breakthrough because they expect growth to be instant. But nature doesn't work like that, and neither does success. There are people who spend so much time watching others that they forget to water their own seed. They look at what someone else is building and start questioning if they should be doing the same thing. They compare their progress to someone else's timeline, not realizing that different seeds grow at different rates. Just because someone else is flourishing doesn't mean your growth isn't happening. A tree doesn't compare itself to the flowers around it. It just keeps growing, knowing that its time will come. Some people look for shortcuts. They want the fastest way to success, the easiest way to make money, the quickest way to get noticed. But anything that grows too fast without a strong foundation won't last. If you don't take the time to nurture your growth, to develop your skills, to build your knowledge, your success will be temporary. The people who last in any industry, in any field, in any pursuit are the ones who took the time to grow properly. They didn't rush the process. They respected it. There are days when it feels like nothing is happening, days when the work feels pointless, days when it seems like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still. Those are the days that test you. Those are the moments that separate those who truly want success from those who just like the idea of it. Because anyone can stay motivated when things are easy. But the real test is whether you can stay committed when things are slow, when results aren't visible, when progress feels small. The ones who succeed are the ones who keep showing up no matter what. It's easy to get discouraged when you're working hard and not seeing immediate results. But success is a long game. Just because you don't see a return today doesn't mean your effort is wasted. Every bit of work you put in is like adding another drop of water to your seed, and one day all of that effort compounds. One day the roots that have been growing underground push through the surface, and suddenly it looks like an overnight success, but it was never overnight. It was built through consistency, through patience, through unseen effort. Some people let distractions pull them away from their growth. They let temporary pleasures, outside opinions, and fear of failure keep them from watering their own seed. They focus more on what's happening around them than what's happening within them. But if you don't take care of your own vision, no one else will. No one is going to water your seed for you. No one is going to make sure you grow. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You have to decide that your dream is worth the effort, that your vision is worth the patience, that your growth is worth the sacrifice. The people who succeed are not the ones who had it easy. They're not the ones who got lucky. They're the ones who decided that no matter how long it took, no matter how hard it got, they would keep watering their own seed until it became something undeniable. They understood that growth is not about speed, it's about consistency. They knew that every bit of effort, no matter how small, was pushing them closer to their goals. They didn't wait for someone else to validate their journey. They didn't stop when things got tough. They kept going, kept building, kept believing. When you take care of your growth, when you stay committed to your vision, when you focus on your own journey, you create something that lasts. You build something real. You develop strength, resilience, and discipline. And when your time comes, when your work finally pays off, you'll look back and realize that every step, every struggle, every sacrifice was worth it. Success isn't about how loud you can be while you're working. It's about how undeniable you become once the work is done. Too many people spend their time announcing what they're going to do instead of actually doing it. They talk about their plans, share their goals with everyone, and post every little step on social media. But the truth is, real success doesn't come from telling people what you're working on. It comes from putting in the work behind the scenes, in silence, when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching, when nobody even knows what you're up to. There is power in silence. There is power in moving in the shadows, in staying focused while everyone else is busy seeking attention. The people who truly make it are not the ones constantly talking about what they're going to do. They're the ones who show up, put in the effort, and let their results do the talking. When you're grinding in silence, you don't waste time defending your dreams to people who don't believe in them. You don't get distracted by outside noise, by opinions that don't matter, by unnecessary conversations that only slow you down. You stay locked in, you stay disciplined, and you keep pushing forward knowing that when the time is right, your work will speak for itself. The reason so many people never reach their full potential is that they care too much about looking successful instead of actually becoming successful. They want people to see them making moves even if those moves aren't leading anywhere. They chase validation instead of mastery, and in doing so, they lose focus on what really matters. Success isn't about who knows what you're doing, it's about whether or not you're actually doing the work. It's about whether or not you're getting better every day, whether or not you're staying consistent, whether or not you're putting in the effort when nobody is there to applaud you. There will be times when it feels like nobody is noticing your hard work, times when it feels like you're putting in all this effort and not getting the recognition you deserve. That's when most people quit. They get discouraged because they want instant validation. They want people to acknowledge their progress, to cheer them on, to tell them they're doing a good job. But the truth is, the most important work happens when nobody is watching. The most important growth happens in the moments when you feel unseen, unappreciated, and overlooked. Those are the moments that shape you, that build your character, that test your commitment. The reason silence is so powerful is that it removes distraction. When you're constantly broadcasting your every move, you invite opinions, criticism, and doubts from people who don't understand your vision. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will believe in you. Some people will try to talk you out of your dreams. Some people will discourage you because they don't have the courage to go after their own. When you grind in silence, you protect yourself from that negativity. You keep your energy focused on what really matters: your growth, your skills, your discipline, your vision. Some of the most successful people in the world built their empires in silence. They didn't announce every step. They didn't seek approval before taking action. They stayed focused, kept their heads down, and worked until the world had no choice but to recognize their greatness. When you're truly committed to your craft, to your dreams, to your goals, you don't need to tell people what you're doing. They'll see it when it's done. They'll see it when your results speak louder than any words ever could. Another reason silence is so powerful is that it allows you to move without pressure. When you make a big announcement about your goals, you put pressure on yourself to deliver instantly. You feel like you have to prove something to people, like you have to meet their expectations. That pressure can be overwhelming, and for many people, it becomes paralyzing. They get so caught up in worrying about what others think that they lose sight of why they started in the first place. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you free yourself from that pressure. You allow yourself to move at your own pace, to make mistakes without judgment, to learn and grow without the weight of outside expectations. The problem with seeking attention too early is that it can give you a false sense of accomplishment. When you post about your goals and people praise you for them, it can feel like you've already achieved something. That dopamine hit from likes and comments can make you feel like you're making progress, even when you haven't actually done anything yet. But success isn't about perception, it's about reality. It's about whether or not you're actually putting in the work, whether or not you're actually improving, whether or not you're actually taking steps toward your dreams. That's why grinding in silence is so important. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you focused on what's real, not just what looks good to other people. There will come a day when your work speaks for itself. A day when people who never noticed you before suddenly want to know your story. A day when the same people who doubted you start asking how you did it. That day will come, but only if you stay committed, only if you keep grinding, only if you focus more on the work than on the attention. Too many people want the spotlight before they've earned it. They want recognition before they've put in the hours, before they've built the foundation, before they've mastered their craft. But the truth is, the spotlight only stays on those who truly deserve it. If you haven't done the work, if you haven't built something real, if you haven't put in the effort when nobody was watching, the spotlight will fade just as quickly as it came. The most powerful thing you can do is build yourself in the dark. Work when nobody is looking. Improve when nobody is cheering. Stay consistent when nobody is praising you. Because when you do that, when you put in the effort day after day, when you show up for yourself even when nobody else does, you build something unshakable. You build a level of discipline, a level of mastery, a level of excellence that cannot be ignored. And when the time is right, when your work is undeniable, the world will have no choice but to notice.